We're here in Helston today to tell the infamous story of the life of Granny Boswell. Anne Boswell was born in 1813 to a Romany Irish family. She came to Helston in the 1860s to marry her second husband, Ephraim Boswell. Ephraim was supposed to be the son of a gypsy king. Around this time, Helston had become an important town in West Cornwall. The Boswell family were a large Romany family in Helston. Anne had 6 children in her 40s. It was a hard life for a woman at that time. She worked in various farms around the Helston area alongside other working class women. But the knowledge that she'd gained as she grew up as a Romany woman started to help her in later life. She began to be known as what was called a wise woman. People began to consult her in matters of love. They also wanted that traditional charms that she would give out to help them, to protect them. As her reputation grew, she began to be known as Granny Boswell. Granny Boswell was known for carrying bags full of spiders, which would be given to the sick and they would hang it over their bedchamber to make them well again. Granny Boswell could lift curses, but she could also cure ringworm in cattle, so an all-round useful person to have in the town. But as much as people consulted her, they were also frightened of her. What were her powers? She was a bit of an enigma.
There was many stories told about Granny Boswell, but one of them was that during the 1906 elections, she was drinking herself into a great intoxication, as was her custom, in Helston Inn. As she walked out of the inn into the street, she observed what may well have been the very first motor car she had ever laid her eyes on. She stood there in the middle of the street, fascinated by the polished, throbbing machine. The driver, frustrated by the obstacle, told Granny Boswell to move out of the way in a very harsh manner. This made Granny Boswell furious. She began screeching at the top of her voice, using the foulest of language at the motorist, and informed him that that machine would not even get as far as the end of the street today. Granny Boswell stormed off in a fury, probably for another drink. The motor car only managed to get halfway down the street before one of its thick steel tension rods broke clean in two, leaving it stranded and requiring a horse and cart to tow it away.
Sadly, Granny Boswell ended her days as a pauper and was sent here to the Helston workhouse to end her days. It was here on the 16th of August 1909, at the age of 96 years old, Granny Boswell died. After her death, Granny Boswell's body was brought to Newbridge, here, and laid out in a tent in a field so that people could visit her body before her funeral. Tregarest Churchyard, the final resting place of Granny Boswell and her husband, the Gypsy King.